This storm is not a glancing blow. This storm is going to be a direct hit.
People along the coastline from South Carolina to Virginia bracing for Hurricane Florence.
Plus, what commissioners in Manatee County are doing to help clean up the persistent red tide outbreak.
And new surveillance footage that police say confirms their arrest of a man accused of shooting inside a car and hitting a little girl. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news tonight, the ongoing preparations for Hurricane Florence along the East Coast. You're looking live at Wilmington, North Carolina. Right now, FPL crews from the Suncoast are on their way to the Carolinas ahead of the storm. Red Cross crews also confirming with our newsroom that they'll be heading there in the coming days. And more than 1,000 Duke Energy employees from the state are also on their way to help. Nobody taking any chances when it comes to Hurricane Florence.
So this is not going to be a storm that we recover from in days. It will take us a good amount of time to do the full recovery.
Well, let's get the latest now on Florence and its path towards the Carolinas. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Yeah, and it's not the best of news for those folks in the Carolinas and even into Virginia. This system is getting better organized. It's gone through its eye wall replacement. It's back to now intensifying and getting larger. Each time it does that, it gets to be a bigger hurricane in terms of its wind field, and that means it's going to have an impact on more people as it makes its way toward the coast sometime around late Thursday into early Friday. Get a look at this visible satellite imagery showing the intense eye wall now. This was earlier this morning, but you see those clouds underneath, those high cirrus clouds just ripping across there. That's about 140 mile-an-hour winds, and it's moving off to the west-northwest at 17 miles an hour. As I said, it's gone through one eye wall replacement. Top winds are at 140, gusts up to 160, and unfortunately, get a look at this forecast. This is coming in at a right angle. It's a perfect storm, and it's going to slow down as it makes its way to the coast. Could be a Category 5 tomorrow, and it will stay as a Category 4, it looks like, as it makes landfall sometime late Thursday, early Friday, and then it's going to sit around for a while. That could dump up to 30 inches of rainfall over the course of its lifetime. Look at the hurricane warnings now from South Carolina all the way up to Duck in North Carolina. Those are hurricane warnings that are in effect, and as far as that life-threatening rain, well, it could get up to 30 inches in some areas. Still a long way to go. We'll have much more on that and Isaac coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Sarasota County rescue crews are on their way to North Carolina this evening as Hurricane Florence threatens that area. Around midnight, Sarasota County got the call asking they send what they call strike teams to Raleigh, North Carolina. So today, 6 members of the Sarasota County Fire Department packed their bags, loaded up 3 rescue units, and then started making their way to North Carolina. These 6 men and women will be helping to evacuate those who need special assistance prior to the storm's arrival.
The request for 8 days, so they'll leave today and they're expected to return around the 18th, but it's going to depend on what other requests may come in post-storm if their activity requires them to stay longer.
Florida Power and Light has also deployed 32 workers and contractors from the west coast of Florida to the Carolinas. In total throughout the state, about 500 people are heading to the Carolinas to help restore power after the storm.
Well, we are still seeing the effects from Hurricane Irma just 1 year later. In fact, the island chain's largest RV resort is formally reopening its doors this week in the Florida Keys. Sunshine Key RV Resort in the Lower Keys is opening 100 of its 400 trailers exactly 1 year after Hurricane Irma left the area almost barren. The resort says the rest of those trailers will reopen by October. More than 90% of lodging facilities have now reopened throughout the Keys.
As the 2018 hurricane season reaches its peak with 3 named storms now spinning in the Atlantic Ocean, possibly a 4th in the Gulf, property insurers say they are prepared if a storm were to hit Florida this year. Last year's Hurricane Irma resulted in roughly 1 million claims in the state, causing almost $10 billion worth of insured losses. Insurance companies want to remind customers to double-check their coverage before a storm approaches to avoid unexpected costs following a disaster. Hurricane deductibles are often quite high and are typically separate from standard deductibles for other claims. Also, flood claims are not covered by homeowners or renters policies.
We can learn anything from what happened last hurricane season. It's the importance of updating your insurance coverage to make sure it keeps up with what you might need, because you acquire new things all the time. Your home becomes more vulnerable as it ages, not less.
McChristian says about 60% of Florida homeowners have no flood insurance policy to cover losses from rising water.
And remember, while Hurricane Florence is not impacting the Suncoast, there are still 2.5 months left in hurricane season. If you still need to get a plan in place, head over to our website, mysuncoast.com, click under the Weather tab, and you'll find a link to open our 1-hour hurricane special, Surviving the Storm, as well as a printable 2018 hurricane guide. In other news tonight, we're learning more about a murder that took place this weekend in Northport. ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez joins us live now with the latest details on how it happened and what could possibly be a motive. Rebecca?
Jacqueline, well, police tell me that they still have a long way to go in solving this case. But with the new tips and leads they've received over the last 2 days, they're on their way. What we know is that 20-year-old Tyron Kinnard was shot multiple times in the street on Sawyer Circle in Northport, right near the Charlotte County line. Police located Tyron's car on Sunday in Port Charlotte, and detectives have now confirmed that they believe the suspect moved the car away from the scene. They say there's tons of evidence inside that vehicle that will hopefully lead them to whomever was responsible for this attack. We're also learning today that Tyron did not identify as a male, but a transgender woman. And the LGBTQ community says they unfortunately fear the worst in this case because of it.
So I think it's too early to say if it's a hate crime. But I think what is important to recognize that right now, unfortunately, the state of Florida is leading the nation in violence against the transgender population, specifically against trans women and trans women of color.
The Northport Police Department says they have found absolutely no evidence that this was a hate crime, but if anyone has any information that would suggest it is, to contact them immediately. Live in Northport, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News. Back to you guys.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. A 7-year-old Bradenton girl is shot while in her mother's car. Take a look at surveillance video that just came in moments ago to our newsroom. You can see the mother's white Impala traveling from right to left. Bradenton police say the suspect's white Durango turns, he shoots, and then they speed off to the right. This happened over the weekend on Manatee Avenue East. Investigators say the 7-year-old was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Now, Bradenton police arrested 18-year-old Axel Benito Ramirez for that shooting. He admitted to firing a handgun into the vehicle as it passed by. Investigators say, though, there's no connection between the victim or her family and Ramirez.
At this time, we do not believe that there's a motive behind it. We do not believe that the family nor the little girl were targeted. That being said, we worked 24 hours a day because our children are paramount. Our children's safety is paramount in this city.
And again, no connection between the family and the man arrested. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we're learning more about the conditions of the home of a Northport man who was arrested for animal cruelty.
And a local veteran getting a home upgrade after years of living in poverty.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Judy here, I think hospice was a tremendous source of support for her.
Absolutely. With Jennifer and Kimberly and Liza's constant contact with us, coming in, just knowing that there was someone with knowledge there to back us up, to answer our questions, it made a world of difference.
Get more for your money during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Sunset Subaru. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
New details tonight of a Northport man facing felony charges for animal cruelty. We're learning today that Brian Eichmann's 2 young daughters were also living with him in the home where the alleged animal abuse was taking place. According to Northport Police, multiple animals in his care were malnourished and infected with parasites. Brian Eichmann was arrested on August 29th and charged with 2 counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. They found the floor covered in urine and feces with multiple dogs, cats, reptiles, and spiders inside. Neighbors tell us they had even seen a python there in the past and that he would allow his 2 young daughters to play with these animals.
We certainly appreciate our partnership with Sarasota County Sheriff's Office and their work through their animal services to protect all of our 4-legged friends. Typically that's a sign of bigger issues in people that are willing to abuse animals. What else are they willing to do?
One of the rescued dogs has already been euthanized. The rest continue to get medical care while police petition for custody. But FWC says the reptiles and spiders that were inside the home did meet the required standards of care.
Dark tint on a car's windows lead to a felony charge for the driver. Police stopping the car on North Washington Boulevard on Saturday after noticing the tinting. While searching the car, Sarasota police found marijuana, crack cocaine, and a loaded gun inside. Tori Mitchell was then arrested for felony gun and drug charges.
Can you help identify the 3 people in this surveillance video? If so, Charlotte County Sheriff's deputies say these suspects were in a theft at a 7-Eleven on Tamiami Trail. If you have any information, you could be rewarded. You're being asked to call Crime Stoppers if you know who they are.
Well, on Bob's weather map now, you can see all these hurricanes and other systems we're following. I mean, they should take a photo of this and put it on the hurricane guide.
Right, and I'm sure it'll be right. The thing is, we started off the season below normal, expected. It just shows you that forecasting and predicting what kind of season you're going to have, not always the easiest to do. It is extremely active out there, to say the least, and here they are. You can see all of them lined up in the Atlantic, 3 separate systems, another one possibly developing up in the northeastern portion of the Atlantic right there. And then we have what could be Joyce entering into the Gulf of Mexico. All these are not a big deal, but this one is. This is a big deal right now, and will continue to be so too. This is an extreme hurricane. Category 4 could go as high as a 5 tonight or tomorrow, and conditions are favorable for development. It's starting to get that buzzsaw look to it once again, with deep convection starting to develop. That secondary eye wall has developed now. It's gone through its eye wall replacement cycle, which kind of weakens the storm, and then it intensifies after that for about 24 hours. We'll see what's going to happen. There could be another one of those before it reaches land, but it looks like it'll be a Category 4 hurricane, and a strong one at that, making landfall into North Carolina now. We're starting to see more and more confirmation of that. This is the radius of the winds. I want to show you this. This is going to be a huge storm in terms of wind impact as well. The distance that you see right here is over 160 miles. of tropical storm force winds. Could be even higher than that. This is based on the last run at 11 a.m. this morning. Also, the hurricane force winds are going to be a good swath. We're talking over 100 miles possibility as far as the hurricane force winds, the radius of it pushing right into North Carolina. By the way, checked a few reports, and there are a couple of nuclear plants right there near Wilmington, near the coast. I'm sure that they are built to standards to withstand any kind of strong wind up to 200 miles an hour with these hurricanes, but it just bears watching. The hurricane warnings are in effect, as I mentioned, from Santee River in South Carolina all the way northward to Duck into North Carolina. Those tropical storm force winds will be rather extensive too, and that means a wide area going to get power outages. They're going to be widespread, just not along the coast either, but inland. This is the European run showing the rainfall possibility of 20 to 30 inches in the yellow there. This is the European, so it just shows you the difference. Now, this is the GFS, which shows a little bit more inland areas getting up to 30 inches of rainfall in some isolated areas. So there's still a lot to be determined yet. The European model starting to shift a little bit further to the south. This is Isaac. This is a storm we'll have to watch, especially into the northern portion of the Leeward Islands and the Lesser Antilles. Their hurricane warnings more than likely will be issued soon. Top winds are at 70. The forecast is going to continue on a westerly course, although it will weaken to a tropical storm. It looks like there are two schools of thought that Florence could actually draw it up northward before Florida, or it stays on a more westerly course around an area of high pressure over Florida. So Florida doesn't appear to be in danger yet. With that, we'll keep an eye on it for you. This one heading off to the northwest. It'll be Joyce into Texas and into, it looks like, Mexico. For us, we have a few scattered storms around. Those storms are pretty intense near North and Northport and along I-75. They are pushing off toward the west, so we're getting a southeasterly wind flow already here this afternoon. So for boaters, tomorrow east winds turn to the northwest. Not much out there. Seas running 2 feet or less. The extended forecast then 30% chance for scattered storms on Wednesday. Thursday goes to 40 and then drops to 30% on Sunday. We'll have high temperatures into the upper 80s through every day, except into the 90s here Wednesday and Thursday. Those rain chances sliding down a bit on Saturday and Sunday as some slightly drier air settles in. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Today, Manatee County Commissioners approved an additional $500,000 from the Tourism Tax Reserve Fund to help keep the beaches clean of dead fish.
ABC7's Jackie Kelly met with a commissioner and tells us how the county is continuing to keep the beaches clean as red tide continues to hang around. Jackie?
Scott, Jacqueline, I'm here on Anna Maria Island, and today I've seen more people out here on the beach than I have in past weeks. Now it seems like the red tide situation is getting better, but the county says they're continuing to monitor the situation. Manatee County is putting aside $500,000 to keep county beaches clean.
Hopefully we'll never touch it, but we'll have it in place to be able to serve not only our visitors, but our residents here as well.
The county saying they are continuing to monitor the red tide.
We have staff that's out there, 12 hours a day looking at it. We've got, the help of the Sheriff's Department with their helicopter to go out and see where the blooms are at. So, we're trying to stay very proactive so that the minute that they wash up on the beach, we got somebody there getting rid of them.
Even though conditions seem to be improving in Manatee County, the Bradenton area CVB says they are still holding back on out-of-state advertising.
And we really are trying to be loyal to our consumers and really showcase our beautiful attributes when that time is right, and obviously today it's not.
But until then, they are encouraging in-state guests to come out and explore what the beach towns have to offer.
There's no traffic now, so it's easy to get out there. The restaurants are open, they're anxious to do business. A lot of them are offering discounts for people that come out there, and and we're going to help fund it through some grants and help those people out there continue to hopefully prosper down the road.
Now, Commissioner Johnson also tells me that staff is continuing to help out with those volunteer cleanup efforts, and there still are those trash bins around town where people can take dead sea animals that they find to dispose of them. Reporting live on Anna Maria Island, Jackie Kelly, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Jackie, thank you. Some Suncoast students remembering the 9/11 attacks this morning, 17 years later. The cadets line up each morning to raise the flag, but today's formation was different. After reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, they raised the flag to half-staff, observed a moment of silence, and then taps were played. Development Director C.J. Bannister says many of these cadets weren't even born yet in 2001.
One of the things that we really try to instill in the kids is honor and respect. And on a day like today, we really take the time to make sure that they honor and respect those that have served, those that gave their lives, and what truly happened that day on September 11th, 2001.
Bannister says she recalls 9/11. She had just gotten out of the Air Force and felt helpless that she couldn't do more to help her country.
Today, numerous Bradenton veterans worked together to help one of their own in need. William Perkins has been living in a mobile home with a floor that's not structurally sound, a leaking roof, and a broken bathroom for years. After a neighbor saw the conditions that he was living in, they reached out to a local veterans group. The Minnesota Operation Troop Support Group asked volunteers from Harvest United Methodist Church if they'd be willing to help. Today, they started the repairs to fix Perkins' home. The vet, who has an amputated leg, was nearly speechless.
That's great. I mean, I've been here 5 years and ain't been able to take a bath yet. And I like to take a bath better in the shower because I can soak my stump in the hot water and relax it before I go to bed. That way, I don't have as much pain. So that helps me a lot.
Well, Home Depot completely funded this $3,000 project, providing the materials and 2 of their own staff for additional manpower.
And they were all so emotional that they were doing this for him and how he appreciated it.
Makes me very happy to see.
When we come back, we're going to introduce you to a lunch lady that's taking school bullies head on.
Tonight, racing for impact. Hurricane Florence churning toward the East Coast. 1 million residents at risk of a direct hit ordered to evacuate. Plus, 17 years later, a nation remembers. World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Hello, Mom. Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs right at home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call right at home. Get the right care right at home.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Temperatures are rising and the deals are heating up during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota. Get KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $22,999. Or save big and get the new Chrysler 300 Touring with an MSRP over $30,000 for just $21,999. That's a savings of over $8,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota today.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion. Learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Well, a school lunch lady in Tampa shaved her entire head to help end bullying. That's right, the woman known as Mrs. Carroll says she saw a little girl being constantly bullied by her classmates for wearing her hair short, so she shaved off all of her hair as well at the school. She says she wanted to teach students that hair does not change who you are as a person. Great story there. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good way. You're going to be watching the
tropics. Yeah, we'll have an update. New advisory at 11 o'clock. Devastating, looks like a storm for the Carolinas. More coming up here in the news right after this.
Yep. Have a good night.
World News Tonight with David Muir is next. We'll see you again at 7.